Well, hey guys, welcome to the solutions to Part C quiz. Some of you did okay, but some of you struggled on it. So I wanted to make a video and just show you how to do each problem. Once you get done, make sure you write down the answers and figure out what you did wrong. You can look on Great Minds or Eureka Math, and it'll show you what you got for your answers. And then do your corrections and come back to me, and you can do version 2 if you'd like to retake it. Okay, so get a pass for me for 7th, and you can do it in 7th period. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on the video. Let me see here. Where is it? Okay, here it is right here. All right, so this is number 1, and it says evaluate and use your answers and enter your answers in scientific notation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write this as a fraction. So it's 5.38 times 10 to the 5th divided by 2 times 10 to the negative 2nd. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you have a two-part problem here. So we can divide those two, and we can use our exponent rules on this one right here. Okay, so grabbing this here, grab my calculator just to make this quicker. Hopefully you don't need to know how to do long division here. So if you take 5.3 and divide it by 2, you get 2.65. Okay, so I'm getting 5.38 divided by 2 gives me 2.69. So this is going to be right here. This is going to be 2.69. Okay, now here what we have is we remember we want to use our subtraction. We subtract, so we subtract top from bottom. So it's going to be 5 minus negative 2. Now, whenever a minus touches a negative, it's going to positive, right? So 5 plus positive 2 is 10 to the 7th power. So you should get 6.9 times 10 to the 7th power. And that's how they got that. Okay, next problem. Okay, so this one, you want to find the product. What I would do on this one is, and they want your answer in scientific notation. So a lot of you got this wrong just because you didn't put your answer in scientific notation. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I would, first of all, put this in scientific notation. Well, what is this in scientific notation? So let me do some scoop-de-loop in here. So let me be careful of my scoop-de-loop. So my scoop-de-loop is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully I counted those scoop-de-loops. Let me do that one more time just to make sure I'm getting it right. I'll make it really thin here. Let's do it one more time. So let's hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 looks good. So this is going to be 7.6 times 10. And remember, guys, when you scoop-de-loop to the right, that's a negative exponent. So that's going to be negative 5. And then we're going to multiply that times 2.4 times 10 to the positive 2. Okay, so, well, let's go ahead and do that. I'll just go ahead and do the multiplication here. So I have 7.6 times 2.4, and that's going to give me 18.24. So that's going to be 18.24. Don't freak out on me. I know it's not in scientific notation, but we'll adjust later. Times 10. Now, we're going to remember when you multiply, you add the exponents. When you multiply, you add the exponents. So it's going to be 10 to the negative 5th plus positive 2. And if you don't know how to do that, make a chart. I always make these charts, and people, I want you guys to make them if you're struggling with these. 5 is negative, 2 is positive. When they're on different sides, we subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3, but the negative wins. So this is negative 3. So this is 10 to the negative 3rd power. Now, right, so let's put this all in one. So this is 10 to the negative 3rd. I'll put that there. Now, here's the deal, guys. I'll erase this, get it out of the way. It's not in scientific notation. So we want to do one scoop-de-loop to put it in scientific notation. Do this, do that. We want to do one scoop-de-loop to put it in scientific notation, and that means we have to add 1. When we scoop-de-loop this way, we add, right? So this is going to be 1.824 times 10, and what's negative 3 plus 1? Well, that's -2. You just make a chart if you need to do that. And that's how they got that answer right here. Okay. All right. Next problem is item 3. Okay. So let's see here. The calculator displays order the numbers from least to greatest. Okay. So let's see here. So the first one is 5.e to the -14th. Okay. So if what I would do is I would say, okay, this guy right here is 7.1 times 10 to the 12th. Okay. That's that one. This one right here is 5.56 times 10 to the 15th. That's huge, right? That's that one right there. Do this, get rid of that button. This one right here is 5.0 times 10 to the -14th. Okay. And this one right here is 2.9 times 10 to the +14th. And then this one right here is 2.59 times 10 to the -13th. And then this guy right here is 7.2 times 10 to the -14th. Okay, now remember the rule is if they're all in scientific notation, the exponent if it's a tie, you look at the decimal number out in front. But if they're all in scientific notation, look at the smallest. We're going to look for the smallest exponent. So what is the smallest exponent? Well, we have two -14s, right? We have two -14s. So I believe that 5.0 is greater than 7.2. Don't look at the negatives now. Once you see the negatives, then you just look at the actual number. So that's going to be, this one's going to go first. So this one is number 1. That's the smallest one. So number 1 right here. See that? Okay, so this one's done. And then the next one is we're still looking at that -14. So this is going to be number 2 because 7.2 is greater than 5.0. So this is number 2. And then, okay, so now I think we have a -13 right here, right? So this is going to be number 3 right here with the -13. Okay, so now we're done with all our negative exponents. Now let's look at the smallest positive one. Well, the smallest positive one I see is 12. Is that right? So it's the 7.10. So this is going to be number 4. Number 4 right here. And then the next one is, what do we have? We have another 14, positive 14, which is right here. So this is going to be number 5. Right here, that's going to be number 5. And then obviously number 6 is going to be the last one with the 15th power, number 6. Number 6 right there. Okay, so study those over. Make sure you see how I did those. If you have any questions, please come see me during 7th and I can explain the video. But sometimes this video can help you. It's just as good as I can help you. Sometimes video Roden is better than regular Roden. Okay, the technology of a company designs a phone that weighs this many pounds, right? What is the weight of the phone to the nearest hundredth of a pound? Enter your answer in scientific notation. Okay, so first of all, let's put it in scientific notation. So if we put it in scientific notation, it's going to be 1 scoop-de-loop, 2 scoop-de-loops. So if we just do that, it's going to be 6.8125 times 10 to the -2nd. Now, they want you to round your answer to the hundredth of a pound. So where's the hundredth place? The hundredth place is right here, right? So round your answer. Oh, hold on. My bad, sorry. I got ahead of the game. Sorry, guys. So we're going to round before we put it in scientific notation. That's the key. So we want to round it before we put it in scientific notation. So the hundredth place is right here. Let me do this. Let me rewrite this. So it's 0.68125. Let me get rid of that guy right there. Come on, Mr. Roden. It is 0.068125. And these gaps in them, guys, those are just kind of like almost like commas. All right, so where's the hundredth place? The hundredth place is right here, right? So we look at one place, we look at the 8. If it's 5 or greater, we round it up to 7. If it's 6 or less, or 5 or less, if it's less than 5, 4 or less, then it's going to stay the same. Well, that's going to round this guy up to a 7. So before we put it in scientific notation, we want to round it. So now we have 0.07. Okay? See that? So this, we're not in scientific notation yet. We're just rounding that first. Then we're going to put it in scientific notation by scoop-de-looping it 2 times. So that's going to be 7.0 times 10 to the negative second power. And that is where they got that. Okay, that was a little tricky problem right there. So hopefully that helps you understand number 4. All right, Mr. Number 5, what do you got here? Okay, which statement correctly compares the approximate diameters of the microorganisms? Select all that apply. Okay, so first of all, there's 2 right answers. So the first right answer is the diameter of Epstein-Barr virus is about 5 times larger than the diameter of parvovirus. Okay, so this guy right here, Epstein, is 1.5 times 10 to the negative 5th. Okay, and Epstein-Barr virus, and then we have what's the other virus? Coronavirus. Okay, this one is 3 times 10 to the negative 6th power. Okay, so why is that? Why is this? Why is this one 5 times greater? Well, we can just do a little thing. So we could say, okay, 3 times 10 to the negative 6th is a multiplier, times a multiplier equals 1.5 times 10 to the negative 5th. See that? And so now let's divide both sides by 3 times 10 to the negative 6th. 3 times 10 to the negative 6th. And then we'll take 1.5 divided by 3. So if we take 1.5 divided by 3, we get 0.5. So this is going to give, so m, remember these cancel out. So m equals 0.5 times 10. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to subtract. Let me just do that off to the side. So this is 10 to the negative 5 minus negative 6. And negative 5 minus negative 6 is negative 5 plus 6, which is just 10 to the first power. Okay? So let me come back down here. So we have 0.5 times 10 to the first power. So if you change that to a regular number, it's just going to be 5. So that's how they got this one. Now, how do they get the diameter of a pollen is about 600 times greater than that. Same process, guys. It's just about, I'll set it up, but I won't do the whole thing. So we know a diameter of corn pollen is 9.9 times 10 to the negative third power is about 600 times as large as the diameter of, let's see if that's true. So 600 times, let's see, the diameter of an Epstein-Barr virus. Well, Epstein-Barr virus is right there, right? So we would say 1.5 times 10 to the negative 5th power times the multiplier. And all we do is just divide both sides by 1.5 times 10 to the negative 5th, 1.5 times 10 to the negative 5th, and we probably will come up with about 600 if we do the math, okay? That's a tricky one. So you did get some partial credit on those, but those were the 2 exact answers they wanted. The other ones weren't true. You just have to go through each one and see if they work or not, see if they're true by dividing out like we did, okay? And the last one is a subtraction problem. Remember, guys, when you subtract, you have to, or add, you have to have the same chickens and ducks, as Mr. Roden would say, right? You have to be in the same thing. So the problem with this guy right here is that 10 to the negative third and 10 to the negative fourth are not the same thing. I always like to go with the biggest one. What's the biggest one? Well, negative 3 is the largest one. So let's do this. Let's add 1 to make that a negative 3. But remember, when you add 1 there, you got to scoop-de-loop this way, right? So when you scoop-de-loop left, you're adding to the exponent, okay? Remember, negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 is greater than negative 4 on the number line. So let me rewrite this here. So now I have 9.1 times 10 to the negative third. And now I'm going to subtract 3 point, because we scoop-de-looped it, 0.37 times 10 to the negative third. Now we're in shape. Now we're in good shape here because we have chickens and chickens, 10 to the negative thirds and 10 to the negative thirds. So we'll just subtract 9.1 minus 0.37. Got to line your decimals up, right? And then so can't take 7 from 0, so we'll make that a 10, and that's a 0. And 10 minus, that's a 3. Can't do that, so that's an 8. 10 minus 3 is 7. 8 minus 0 is 8. So I'm getting 8.73 times the common 10, which is negative 3. And there it is right there. And we're done. And that's how you do that problem. Okay, guys? All right, so make your corrections. If your grade was low, which there were a lot of low grades on this one, guys, watch this video, come see me for help, and tell me when you want to retake it. And you come into my 7th period and go ahead and retake it. See you later. Bye.